What's up, everyone, and welcome to ClearTalk. So in this video we are going to be talking about um well, everything election. um yeah, we're going to talk about updates on what's going on with Biden, what's going on with Trump, what's going on with the parties, what's going on with everybody, because everything's up in an uproar, right? um Man, it's just so much stuff coming out. um So yeah, we're going to talk about Biden and the Democratic Party. We're going to talk about Trump and the Republican Party, uh, and yeah, just give an update on everything going on. And we're probably going to have another one. I'll probably put out another one in the next couple of days because we've still got events coming the rest of this week. So uh, watch out for that. All right. So as of So you had the presidential debate the week before last. You had Biden's little interview last week. We've went over both of those. I did video on that and went over all that. Well, since then, um, Biden has had a few little interview like things on a couple of shows. He has an upcoming live event, sort of interview discussion, whatever, I think Thursday, which is supposed to be prime time, because yeah, that's what's been requested. Basically, that's what was actually supposed to be the interview last week, was supposed to be live, but the campaign talked down to a taped interview with certain questions and only being like 20 minutes or so, whatever it was, 25 minutes. Um, and basically people come out saying, well, that wasn't good enough. We wanted more live, more like, town hall type of situation, to get a little better grip on whether or not he can really handle himself or whatever. um he gave he called into what was it, Good Morning Joe, or whatever, Morning Joe, a couple of days ago, went on this big rant about how um you know uh, how all the people are talking about he was old and whatnot, and he just basically just blowing it all off and talking about all his accomplishments and whatnot. And he wasn't, he was tired of hearing the crap about his age and about this and that. Um, but you've had prominent uh, senators and representatives coming out against, saying that he needed to step down. Um, I'm not going to give all the names and stuff, but there's been quite a few of them that step down, uh, or are asking him to step down. Uh, Although they had apparently had a meeting the other day, and they've been having like senator meetings or whatever. I think a few days. I think they were supposed to even had one today. I don't even know what the result of that one was, but in talks about, well, what's happening, what's going on, how to go forward and whatnot. Um, and it seems like every day you've got different ones coming out against, and then those are coming out for, and the support and everything. And wild enough, your ones coming, the few that are coming out against are like major, like centrist types, corporate types. And some of the main ones coming out actually in defense, and or somewhat in defense, I guess you could say, and like saying that they support, are more left leaning, the progressive side, which is bonkers to me. Um, we had AOC come out stating that, uh, it was kind of weird the way she stated it. She did state that she was supporting him, but she stated the whole like, he's going to be our candidate and blah blah blah, kind of in a way of like, almost as if she said she had been in several talks with him over quite a few days, and that basically she was coming out saying the way it sounded is like she was saying, we've tried and he's not changing his mind. That's the way it come off to me. Like, We've tried talking to him. He ain't changing his mind. He's being, it's almost like he's being stubborn, which I would think we've all seen and know and noticed this. And that there's no change, and he's going to be the candidate, so we might as well deal with it. That's kind of the way it come off to me, the way she was saying it. But she then went to the point of saying, "I support him being that way." I didn't think that that was necessary, but um, and then Ilhan Omar basically somewhat did the same thing, coming out, stating all these accomplishments or all the things that need to be accomplished. Basically, so she was basically saying, in order to get these things done, which is she's prioritizing, Biden needs to, be the candidate and become president because Trump will blow that to hell and back. So it's just weird to have, but that's all political calculations. I'm pretty sure, it seems to me. Um, them coming out and supporting, that and whatnot. Same as Schumer and a couple others have come out support. Even though behind the scenes it's been said that they are saying he needs to step down, but in like I said, in on camera, in front of everybody, they're saying yes, we support him. He's a candidate, and blah blah blah. And it might straight up be that that's just and like the way I took AOC saying is that basically it's like it is what it is. He's the candidate. He's not going anywhere. We're not changing his mind, and we might as well get on board. It's kind of a thing. Like I said, the way it come off to me, the way her comments were saying, people took him a little bit more. It took him a little bit differently, acting like as if she's like in full support of him, and I'm not completely convinced of that. I think it was more of a political, just yes, we got to be behind him, blah blah blah. And it really doesn't. And they are especially like Ilhan Omar. I think she's in a contestment for you know getting her seat back. So she needs that support and doesn't really need to be on the bad side of the DNC or the campaign or whatever. So I get that. So, it's a political thing. But anyways, um, but yeah. So that's where that stands. You have basically the DNC or the Democratic Party kind of imploding on us, like separating and splitting of those that are, completely like on board with stating that he is too old and needs to step down, and somebody needs to replace him, and then those who are just coming out of the um meeting saying, he's our candidate and we support him and blah blah blah. Um, we'll see what happens. Continues. Yeah, I think it's gonna be, you know, like I said, he had a whole lot of uh, like interviews and things set up for this week, plus the major live one that's supposed to be Thursday or tomorrow, I guess. Um, and I guess we'll see how that comes about, like how that works out, how he looks, how he sounds. But either way, I think all that's a discussion about like where the elites and where the those in Washington view and how they view and how what they're saying and looking. The American people, though, I, I don't see like it's pretty obvious. Those that are going to vote for him are going to vote for him, like the hardcore Democrats, that are 100% on completely against Trump getting presidency are going to vote for Biden. It just the issue comes down to the independents and those that are not quite decided. And it's not that they necessarily decided between Biden or Trump. It could be that they're deciding between Biden and JFK or Biden and Jill Stein or whatever, or whatever her name is, or any of the other few third party candidates that are still in the running. So, or whether they're going to vote at all. That's the probably the biggest one is that those that are just decidedly at this point don't know if they will even go and vote because it's just pointless or whatever. that's the ones that are, I think, the only ones that you potentially can try to sway mind, um, and get on board. But I think most of them, even have seen the writing on the wall as far as that's concerned. Um, but yeah, so um, now the Republican Party. So it comes as apparently a few days ago, the Republican Party RNC platform came out. So I do have that pulled up, or at least like the bullet points. Uh, so, whoops, highlight that here. All right, so yeah, so the RNC finally released like its official platform, which Trump is you know the presumptive nominee, so he's apparently on board with this, or this is what they're putting on board for him. Either way, number one, seal the border and stop the migrant invasion. Um, the border is sealed. There's not really an invasion coming. I mean, we all know Biden has pretty much held up the same uh, stuff that Trump had in place. They've been shipping people back over like crazy. So, yes, we have taken in migrants. A lot of them. Some of them have been released for future dates and whatnot. But since the whole um, executive order, I think the border's pretty much been shut down. Although we still are, accepting some, over, those that are crossing. And apparently, a lot of our facilities down there are becoming way overpacked, um, and like heavily overpacked. But anyway, carry out the largest deportation operation in American history. Number two, that's wild. Um, depending upon what they mean by deportation, what all is in that. Because we know, according to Project 2025, that's like massive. Like they're wanting to deport, even people that have long been here. So I don't know what that all entails. Number three, end inflation and make America affordable again. Not sure how you're going to end inflation. It has been reported that inflation, according to economic experts, is going to continue to happen regardless of who actually gets presidency, Biden or Trump. It's going to continue to go up. I mean, it has come down relatively in the past few months, but it's projected to increase again. And according to uh, experts, under Trump and his tariffs and stuff, it will actually make it last even longer, projection wise, long term, than if under Biden. So I don't know how you're gonna make that happen. Make America the dominant energy producer in the world by far. It pretty much is. Stop outsourcing and turn the United States into a manufacturing superpower. Um, Under Trump, but previously he outsourced thousands, hundreds of thousands of jobs. Um, I don't. Biden actually has insourced hundreds of thousands of jobs. I don't know how we're working that. Large tax cuts for workers and no taxes on tips. Large tax cuts for workers. The largest, the 80 something percent of the previous tax cut under Trump went to the top 1%. So I don't know. Um, Take that for what it is. Defend our Constitution, our Bill of Rights, and our fundamental freedoms, including freedoms of speech, freedoms of religion, and the right to keep and bear arms. Uh, none of that is under uh, none of that is under offense or being, I don't know what 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 that means. Prevent number 8. Prevent World War III. Restore peace in Europe and in the Middle East, and build a great Iron Dome missile defense shield over our entire country, all made in America. Prevent World War III. Trump quite literally ripped up the Iran agreement, nuclear agreement, attacked an Iranian major like military commander, Soleimani, killed him. I mean, tried to do a coup in Venezuela, there's so many things. Did not get out of Afghanistan, even though he said he was going to. You know, I mean, increased the drone war by like 400% over even Obama, and Obama previously had the high. I mean, um, I don't know. It seems like he had every warmonger that he could put under his administration, for foreign, foreign wars and foreign activities or whatever. Um, and how the hell do they plan on building a great Iron Dome? I guess they are wanting to do as we have done with Israel and make a missile defense system that will protect the entirety of our country. I mean, the defense system that Israel has right now, which is the most like intelligent system in the world, even as many missiles and defense that it has protected Israel from, on October 7th, it was taking out. I mean, it was depleted. It couldn't handle the amount of missiles that came at it, and it's even been argued that if they went full on with Hezbollah, that Hezbollah had, you know, missiles and stuff that could quite very well could penetrate through their Iron Dome. And Israel is a fraction of the size of the United States. I mean, it would take a massive amount of resources for that to happen and for that to be accomplished. So, talk about blowing the defense budget out of the water. Holy shit. Like, they would have to majorly increase the defense budget. In the weaponization of government against the American people, they're like that is happening. Stop the migrant crime epidemic. There's no migrant crime epidemic. Demolish the foreign drug cartels. Crush gang violence and lock up violent offenders. Okay. Rebuild our cities, including Washington, D.C., making them safe, clean, and beautiful again. So, what are we talking about there? A massive infrastructure bill that Trump never did, but Biden did? I don't know. Well, strengthen and modernize our military, making it, without question, the strongest and most powerful in the world. It is. It is, by far, the strongest. Now, modernized, I mean, most of it is. I don't. Keep the US dollar as the world's reserve currency. It is. Fight for and protect Social Security and Medicare with no cuts. That's bullshit. That's a straight up lie, and they know it because Republicans are always trying to cut Medicare and Social Security, bar none. I don't know. Cancel the electric vehicle mandate and and cut costly and burdensome regulations. So yeah, they're gonna. There is no. Well, I mean, I guess there is, but uh, that's a part of Project 25, wanting to completely eliminate the electric vehicle and the Green New Deal kind of like ideas, like completely defund them, and see cut costly and burdensome regulations. So make everything unregulated and just go wild with for the corporations to do whatever they want. That's the way the Republicans have always been, or have been for the past few decades. Cut federal funding for our school, for any school pushing critical race theory, radical gender ideology, and other inappropriate racial, sexual, or political content on our children. Keep men out of women's sports. Deport. Here's a big one. Deport pro Hamas radicals and make our college campuses safe and patriotic again. Pro Hamas radicals. But what they mean there is anybody who is pro Palestinian, because that's what they've been calling them all along. All the pro Palestinian marches and stuff going on the college campuses, they've been claiming that they're pro Hamas all along. That just because they are pro Palestinian, that automatically makes them pro Hamas. So that's what they're talking about. Deporting anybody who. What if they're U.S. citizens? How are you going to deport U.S. citizens? Am I just not thinking this right? Like what are we talking about? Secure our elections, including same-day voting, voter identification, paper ballots, and proof of citizenship. This is them trying to once again come down on mail-in balloting, mail-in balloting, which is hilarious because I mean, because that was Trump's whole deal before. Stop. Don't count the mail-in ballots, and like, or stop mail-in ballots. You should be voting on, in person, same day voting. Part of the Project 25 was about making sure that mail-in ballots, like to stop accepting votes after the day of the voting day, November 7th. Like anything after, like all votes should have to be counted on that one day, and anything that is not counted apparently does not matter. Can't be counted, can't be accepted. Which and they know, and the reason why they want that is because they know that since COVID, Democrats have largely did the mail-in ballots, and because of the rhetoric from Trump, Republicans were, being pushed to show up on day to vote. So there was less mail-in ballots on Republicans, even though there's quite a few mail-in ballots from Republicans too. But the majority of them was coming from Democrats. So this is all a way to try to hold back voting from Democrats, which is hilarious since pre-COVID, the majority of mail-in ballots was actually majority Republican. So, anyway, and 20 unite our country by bringing it to new and record levels of success, whatever that means. So it's just such a generalized, no specific kind of like bullet point of like the main ideas for their platform. I mean, they go into further like detail further in, like full details on, or I guess somewhat full details on some stuff. but that's like the bullet point version. This is what their agendas are. Um, so, and what came out after this, and uh, and what was noticed by a lot of prominent Republican figures, like Pence and stuff, was that there was nothing in here about abortion, because Trump has been running away from abortion. And so there's nothing in here about the abortion, abortion ban or whatever, federally or anything like that, which is what a lot of them want. And I think since Pence has even come out, um, suggesting and pushing for uh, abortion ban be added to the platform, and there's a lot of support apparently getting behind him on that. So very well could possibly be added before long. Um, so but a lot of this stuff is actually a part of the Project 2025, even though a couple of days ago Trump come out against Project 2025, or acting like he didn't know what it was, but then talked about how there was some really crazy stuff in it. It's like, well, if you don't know what it is, how do you know there's crazy shit in it? Like, it was so weird. He sent in a little truth on Truth Social about how he didn't know what it was, and but it was some crazy stuff in it, and that he wasn't didn't it wasn't in agreement with, but good luck to them or whatever. um which is I don't I don't believe at all. I mean, there was several things in Project 2025 that he has stated in his campaign, on his campaign, and his speeches and whatnot. He has stated several of the bullet points and stuff in 2025, Project 25, um, during his campaign rallies and whatnot. So for him to come out acting like he doesn't know what it is, or that he isn't for it, is just hogwash. Hogwash. Um. So, anyways, so yeah, that's what's going on. Um, that's the Republican platform. Take it for what it is. Read more into it if you would like. Um, it's just a bunch of nonsense and stuff that actually isn't happening. It doesn't mean anything because this it's already that. So it's like, okay, this almost sounds like, to me, like you're just going to maintain the status quo, like maintain what's actually already being maintained. Like you're not changing anything. You state this as if this is stuff that needs to be changed and that you're going to change it, but it's already that. Like it doesn't make any sense. Anyways, so yeah, that's pretty much that. So we're gonna see what happens here in the next few days with Biden, um, and what's going to come about there. Uh, does Trump has something coming up here soon too? Um, his doesn't his hearing or whatever for that case? I don't know. That might have been postponed because of the whole Supreme Court thing the other day. Basically acting like he does pretty much have immunity, which is complete ridiculousness. Or at least presumptive um, um, immunity that has to be proven by the states or by the lower courts, by the prosecutors or whatever, and then brought back up. So it's just going to be a never-ending cycle of with the cases. Because now the judges from the lower courts have to decide whether or not it's actually like, presumptive to against immunity, and then it's got to be sent back. It'll pretty much be sent back up to, to state whether or not some particular thing falls within the realm of a presidential act or not, and then it had to be sent back up to the Supreme Court, and the Supreme Court would then, like, I guess, look at each individual thing and state whether or not they agree in that or not. But the way they pretty much stated in their generalized ruling, that was extremely broad. They're more than likely just going to act like it's all like, oh yeah, it can be connected to, presidential acts, so whatever. It's going to be a never-ending cycle that ultimately benefits Trump. So I don't know. I don't know. That's not looking good. The man just keeps getting away with everything. It's incredible and frustrating all at the same time. So, anyways, there's one thing though. One thing that I want to present a question to y'all. And I should have stated this off to begin with, but I'll probably put it in the description so, like, it'll be brought to attention. But anyways, I've been thinking about this. What if, and this is dealing with Biden and his decision to remain in the election. What if, maybe I should do this as a separate video. Oh well. Okay, so what if Biden is purposely staying in the election, knowing that there is a good chance that he will not be able to finish his 4 years? Like, knowingly. I mean, we're talking about a career politician who has lived as a politician longer than not. He lives and breathes politics. His dream was to become president. Now we, as outsiders or even as any other politician or most probably would think, we would hate to see that, right? We'd hate to see, or that's what's the concern, is him not being able to finish a job and somebody having to take over, which of course would be Kamala. But hear me out. What, some people are so enveloped in their persona, their career, or their, like, what excites them in their life or what gives them purpose, that they are willing to stick in it and stay with it until the end. Like, that's their dying wish, is to go out like that. And that's something I don't think anybody has humored or thought about, maybe. Or if they have, they haven't just questioned that. What if he is staying in and purposely, like, he doesn't care the fact that he's old or that he's, he might not make it through the next 4 years. I mean, certainly he probably hopes to, but in his mind, there's a very good chance that he thinks that, if I go out, I want to go out like that. I want to go out as the president of the United States. I mean, you think about it. A lot of the previous presidents that have died in office are some of the most known presidents of our time. Whether they were assassinated or they just died. I mean, it's kind of a it just puts a mark on that particular president that he didn't make it through office for whatever reason. And so if he, I think, and I'm wondering if his mind, he's actually thinking that he would rather go out that way. He would rather go out as the president of the United States. For one, like that's a main reason. And then two, he might also think that in order to get someone like Kamala Harris as president, because that's who they've been, that's who they previously have wanted to build up. I mean, that's the reason why he took her on as his vice president. He wanted to build her up, or saw the potential for her to be built up as the next nominee for the Democratic ticket. But there has been very little enthusiasm towards her. So what if Hayes thinking, and maybe even some around him, is thinking that the only way to get people behind a Kamala Harris is to actually give her the opportunity to do the job without having to be elected into the job, so that people can see or get a glimpse of what she would be like, and then she would have a better chance of being reelected when it come up for reelection. That's my second thought on that. So, like, him knowing that there's a good chance that he will go out sometime in the next 4 years, and then when he goes out, Kamala will step in and get her chance to actually show the American people and the rest of, Congress and whatnot, what she can do, assuming that she's going to do a good job. And I'm sure he would try to set her up to look as good as possible so that she wouldn't have to do much to look good. Or at least I'm sure that would be the hopes that he would have. And maybe there's very much of the DNC or Democratic Party members, especially the elites, maybe they're all behind that. Maybe it's like a big, like, whatever, conspiracy, whatever, how like theory, plan, all, in all of this. I'm just something that I'm just wanting to spit out and think on. Like, and you think about it, the way he has acted, the way they have done, it's not outside the realm of possibility. I mean, so that's just something I've been thinking about the past few days and wanted to express and give you the opportunity to think about that. Maybe that's the reason why he's pushing so hard to stay in the race, is that he wants to go out, first of all, and then secondly, pave a path for Kamala to be able to get a, albeit short term, in the seat without having to be elected, to give her a better chance at being the successor in, say, 2028 or whatever, like being the nominee, giving her that chance that, oh, well, she had to finish up the last year or two of his presidency, and I mean, look, she didn't do too half bad. I mean, whatever, this is assuming, and be like, what? That's she, and then she would then be kind of like a default incumbent, right? and she'd have the more like prominent position to be the nominee in 2028. So that's that's where I'm thinking and going, and why this is so like, and why everybody might be behind, or those that are getting behind him for those reasons, or at least they have, or maybe it's being like somewhat like talked about or whatever. I don't know. I just what I that's what I'm wondering. Anyway, let me know what you think on that. Let me know what you think about the whole Biden situation. What do you think is going to happen tomorrow night? Is he going to live up to the live thing? Is he going to fumble and be an old cranky man, or old half asleep zombie, or is he going to be hitting on all his uppers and show that he's the man for the job? I don't know. And what do you think about this Republican platform? Is it your cup of tea? Does it hit all the points that you would like to be hit, or is it a complete just ridiculousness? Let me know. And then what you think on my little epiphany, let's say, or whatever, on the whole Biden Kamala successor going out on the up. I don't know. How you want to look at it? What do you think about that? Do you think that that's an actual possibility? Do you think that it's a actually probably what's actually going on, or am I just crazy and there's no way in hell that's the problem? No, that's it. Let me know. So anyway, like, comment, share, subscribe, all that good stuff. If you like to see more of content like this, let me know. Give me some ideas or whatnot. Comment down below, all that good stuff. And until next time, Clear Talk. I'm out.